What's up everyone, I'm your host Zage, and we'll be ranking the characters from the pre-TimeSkip from weakest to strongest in this tier list format. This was actually suggested to me by a friend of mine, Kunais, in a Discord call. We were just talking about what I should stream on Twitch, so he gave me this idea, and I was like, I can even do this for YouTube, since we don't really talk about the versions of the characters in the pre-TimeSkip and how strong they were compared to the other characters in the pre-TimeSkip. So I was like, that's a good idea, so here we are. I do want to give some disclaimers though, that I will be going off memory and I haven't read the early arcs in a long time, so I can't promise the most accurate things, but hopefully this will be fun anyway. Just for a general scaling, it'll be just kind of fun. Another thing is that there will be no post-TimeSkip scaling, so anything done and said in the post-TimeSkip will have no relevance to what will be scaled to in the pre-TimeSkip. However, any information from like data books and stuff like that will obviously be applicable for the pre-TimeSkip scaling. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to really say. But if you like content like this, is your first time on this channel, I'd really appreciate it if you can subscribe and like the video. In the links in the description are also the links to my Twitter, my Discord. So if you go follow me on Twitter, if you have Twitter, and join the Discord, that'll also be much appreciated. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start it off with Luffy. Luffy is probably around the middle of the tier list, probably around C tier. Obviously we'll change it around so when we get more characters in. Can't predict the future or anything. Zoro at the end of the Enies Lobby arc was stated in Databook Yellow to be on Luffy's level at the end of Enies Lobby. Then he got a power up in Shueisha in Thriller Bark, so Zoro being on this level, I'd say makes sense. Nami is one of the weaker Straw Hats, so she's probably around E tier, maybe F tier, I don't know, but we'll see. Usopp, actually in an interview in 2007, I believe, Oda said he intends on having Usopp always be the weakest Straw Hat, so him being weaker than Nami makes sense. Sanji is probably a tier below Luffy and Zoro. Sanji wasn't that far apart from Luffy and Zoro, I'd say, in Enies Lobby, but with their progressions since then, I'd say he's probably a tier below, but maybe I'll change it once we get more characters in. Chopper is cowardly like Nami and Usopp, but he is pretty strong, at least in the pre-TimeSkip. Robin is one of the stronger members, so put her in E tier. Frankie is also one of the strongest Straw Hats, also put him in E tier, probably stronger than Robin. To be honest, I think in Thriller Bark, Robin probably had better feats against Mori and stuff, so. Brook is, I think, like his perception, like the perception of Brook, at least probably post-TimeSkip, is that he's weaker than these two. But in the pre-TimeSkip, he kind of is made out to be stronger than both of them, in the sense that when Kuma came with the Urusu's shock, he was the only one with Zoro and Sanji that were able to withstand it and endure it, since Brook was able to witness nothing happen from Zoro when he took Luffy's pain. Also, when Zoro and Ryuma was fighting, Frankie wasn't even able to like see Zoro's slashes and stuff, whilst Brook was able to perceive it. So I'd say Brook is probably made out to be stronger than these two, as wild as that sounds. Jinbei is a high tier in the series in the pre-TimeSkip. Roger is the Pirate King, so obviously he's S tier. Shanks is a Yonko, so obviously he is S tier. Ben Beckman is stated in his review card to be his existence rivals and is comparable to Shanks. And also Kizaru was wary of his strength, so he's obviously S tier. Kobe is kind of trash. He got one shot by Marineford base Luffy, so I'd say he's probably F tier. I don't see these guys getting one shot, especially since Chopper here is like, I'd say that's monster point. I'll just say that's the strongest, whatever. And Frankie was able to like beat Fukuro, who's not that much weaker than Bluno, and Bluno was able to withstand a few attacks from Gear Second. So I'd say they're definitely not getting one shot by no base Luffy. So Buggy was introduced as one of the big three captains in the East Blue, like the pirates. Ever since though, he's been in prison, and it's hard to say if he got much stronger, so I'll just keep him in G tier. Garp is obviously a top tier in the series. Probably you can debate it between him and Ben Beckman all you want, since he's old, but in his heyday he was as strong as Roger, so I'll just put him above Ben Beckman. Kuro, I think Luffy had a harder time against Kuro than he did against Buggy, so Gin stronger than Kuro, I'd say. Don Krieg stronger than Gin. Mihawk is a top tier in the series, the strongest swordsman, so he should be above Shanks, who was his former rival and is also a swordsman. Don Krieg was the strongest pirate in East Blue. Smoker fought Luffy in Marineford and got much stronger since their previous fights. He was able to like tag Gear second, able to injure him with his Sea Stone Jite. So it's kind of weird because since he's a Logia, Luffy can't touch him. And Smoker does say that his ability is still not good enough. But it's kind of hard to say if it's just Smoker, you know, the stronger because he has a Logia, but I don't know. He's probably around this tier though. Another moment in which like Luffy wouldn't be able to beat Smoker but was stronger than him was like after Alabasta, since he defeated Crocodile and Smoker could not do that. But if they were to fight, Luffy's running around and running away every single time if they were to like see each other and stuff. So I'll probably put him C tier, maybe D tier, but I'll keep him C tier though. Dragon is a top tier in the series. At the very least, he's portrayed as such, as the man going after the world government, trying to take them down. He's featless, but I'd say my headcanon is that he is stronger than Mihawk and Shanks. But since he's featless, I'd say it's fair to say that he's above Garp, his dad, you know, his old age and stuff, so I'll just put him there. Ace is obviously a top tier in the series, and Rookie Ace was as strong as Jinbei, so when he became a Whitebeard commander, he'd be stronger. Bon Clay is probably F tier. Maybe I need to move Kobe down. I mean, Usopp did get one shot by a thing as well, by Luffy in his base, I think. So, and Luffy was holding back most of the fight. So, can Kobe beat Bon Clay? Would Bon Clay get a one shot? Probably not. Crocodile is a weird one, since the narrative in his fight against Luffy in Alabasta was that Luffy was surpassing Crocodile. But when he was reintroduced in the story, he came with crazy feats, blocking Mihawk, clashing with Doflamingo, intercepting Akainu when he was going after Jinbei, and so on and so forth. But even in Marineford, Luffy with his water was portrayed as a threat to Crocodile. I'd say that it's still more consistent to say at the very least by Marineford that he's a high tier in the series. So I'll keep him A, but his scaling has always been a weird one. So Daz Bones, I'd say, is obviously stronger than Mr. 2. Blackbeard with only the Yami Yami no Mi decisively beat Ace, so he'd be the top of A. Blackbeard, once he got the Goro Goro no Mi, is definitely a top tier in the series. However, he wasn't confident in beating Shanks, or he said it was too early to fight him, portraying him as weaker than, I guess, the current Yonko. He was talking trash to Sengoku and Garp for being old, but even Sengoku was basically kind of saying, you know, like, don't get ahead of yourself type, you know. So it's debatable, I guess, but maybe he'd be one of the weaker top tiers regardless. Maybe stronger than Ben Beckman, maybe not. I guess I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Doflamingo is obviously a high tier in the series, probably stronger than Jinbei. Kuma's a weird one. His Delphi is OP because he can repel himself and like move at speeds that is able to like make him you know, get in between a fight like Rayleigh vs Kizaru, which is a top tier level fight. I don't think there's enough to say he's better than and stronger than Yami Blackbeard, but I guess you could say he's over Ace. He's also the only one, just for a little bit of portrayal, he was the only one out of the revolutionaries that actually knew that Luffy was Dragon's son. Even Ivankov didn't know, which kind of portrays him maybe as the former right hand to Dragon before Sabo. So him being strong makes sense. The Pacifista, it took the combined effort of the entire Straw Hats to beat a Pacifista, and Luffy could not do that alone, so it's probably an entire tier above Luffy. Also, another thing about the Pacifista as well is that I guess it was used to show Luffy's progression after his training over the 2-year time skip by one-shotting it, so it being stronger pre-time skip makes sense. Sengoku was the former Fleet Admiral, so he's obviously a top 10 in the series. As strong as Garp, I'd say. He's portrayed to be like a rival to him in terms of strength. Whitebeard's a tricky one because his feats, you can argue, makes him the weakest top tier, but every statement, even post Marineford, says he was still the strongest man. So you can say that like before Whitebeard got any injuries and before his heart attacks came, his overall power was the strongest, but as the fight was going on, he's getting weaker and weaker, he declined throughout Marineford to becoming the weakest. But this would be peak Whitebeard when he clashed Shanks and so on and so forth, so, or peak old Whitebeard, I should say. In his heyday, he's stronger than Roger, but yeah. Wiper was around Zoro's level in Skypiea, so he should be stronger than Daz Bones. And now would be an entire tier above Wiper. Probably even weaker than Brooke, Robin, and Frankie, maybe. Like, would Enel be able to, like, take an Urusa's shock after he's already been injured? Especially considering that he lost and was physically weaker to base Luffy, like, in Skypiea. And it's tricky. It's tricky. Also, like, he was weighted with the golden ball, and even like that rifle was still too fast for Enel in his like pseudo awakened state with that monster lightning form. I'll put him at the top of E for now, but I'll probably move it around once we get more characters in, because I'm not that convinced that he can beat people like Frankie, who's like a Bruno tier level character, and take Gear 2nd level attacks and stuff. Or a couple of Gear 2nd level attacks, but yeah. And that was very overrated. Another one that's actually overrated is Nolan and Kalgara. Since Nolan lived 400 years ago, people make him out like he's Ryuma's level or something. But I guess all we can say about him is that he's stronger than Wiper, since Kalgara is the strongest Shandorian. And they would be weaker than Enel just due to feats. Enel has better feats than them, so I'll move them if I need be, but for now let's keep them E tier. Aokiji is an admiral, and since the admirals are comparable in strength, and we'll get to Akainu later, but Akainu arguably has the best feats, or is arguably the strongest character. We'll get to why, and Aokiji should share in its portrayal, so maybe that would make it stronger than even Mihawk and Shanks in terms of just feats. Aokiji does have outright better feats than Mihawk anyway, so, you know, taking off Josu's arm and so on and so forth, even though Josu was caught off guard, but still a feat regardless. He was able to like pin Whitebeard down and freeze him while he had like his Bicento, and it took Josu like saving Whitebeard, or he would have got shot by those arrows, those ice arrows. So Aokiji being the top tier makes sense. Lucci is probably at the top of D tier for now, being relative to Gear 2nd Luffy and his lobby. Khalifa is a weird one. I wouldn't say she's as strong as Wiper. Definitely not. She is by far the weakest CP9 agent, but one thing to say about the CP9 agents is that they all have Arm and Haki observation, so would she beat Daz Bones or Mr. 2? I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll just put her in between, or like, I don't know, I'll just put her below them. I'm not sure. Someone correct me on Kali for scaling her, I really don't know. Kaku, weaker than Sanji, I'd say. Bluno would be probably weaker than Frankie. Maybe stronger than Chopper. I guess Chopper's only strong with his monster point, like he's clear of them with monster point. So Jabra weaker than Kaku. I believe it's also stated in the Deep Blue Data book and Kaku's CP9 memory card that he is number 2 in CP9, so Jabra being below him makes sense. Fukuro, I believe has a 20 Doroki below Chopper. Where's Komodori? I've completely forgot Komodori in this list. Hold on. Alright, here's Komodori. I was tripping. Trying to look for him. He's stronger than Fukuro, I believe. Okay. Moria, base Moria is a weird one. The thing about Moria is that the reason why Kuma came to Thriller Bark is because since Luffy defeated Rob Lucci, the world government feared that they would lose another warlord since Luffy was going to Thriller Bark. So in the eyes of the warlord, the world government, they see defeating Rob Lucci as a sign that Luffy could even defeat Moria. But Moria, like, physically speaking, was able to like take attacks from like Nightmare Luffy, and Rob Lucci nearly lost consciousness from getting hit by Gear 3rd. So I just say, like, physically Moria probably has the upper hand in like an overall fight, just because of how much he can like endure over Rob Lucci. But I don't think, since like Rob Lucci is like the better fighter, like speed and so on and so forth, it'd be the same tier. But I guess base Moria and Rob Lucci is a debatable one, you could say. Asgard Moria is definitely a high tier in the series, very powerful. Asgard Moria is even stronger than Oz. Maybe he'd even be A tier. I'll move him down if need be, but for now being A tier makes sense. Another thing about Moria as well is that the reason why Doflamingo tried to kill him in Marineford was that the war government deemed him not fit enough to be a warlord, and the warlords are picked primarily based on their strength. So since he wasn't technically warlord level anymore, he got demoted, or tried to get excommunicated, let's say. The next one is Ryuma. Ryuma was on the level of Two Sword Zoro and Thriller Bark. Two Sword Zoro in Enies Lobby was fighting like giraffe form Kaku, and he's also clear of Brook. He's much stronger than Brook. He might even be stronger than Enel, since Enel I was kind of debating with like these guys, but Brook like could not even beat like a nerfed or like suppressed Ryuma. Ryuma was far stronger when he was fighting Zoro. Funny as that sounds. Oz, like I said, he's built different. Probably stronger than Pacifista 2. Nightmare Luffy is built different as well, even stronger than Oz. Nightmare Luffy might even be up here, honestly, but we'll keep it like that for now. Beige is featless, but I think he also has one of the lower bounties, I think, of the supernova at Sabodi. I'm not convinced he can beat Rob Lucci. Not even Sanji, honestly, so I'll just put him here. Him being above Kaku and Jabra, though, like, since he's a supernova, I'll just give it to him. I'd say that about all the supernova. Bonnie as well doesn't really have anything going for her. She's strong, but, you know, Hawkins is made out to be one of the more prominent supernova, but he doesn't fight a pacifista or anything. Maybe I'd put him like above Sanji just because of the fact that he was like a prominent, like, mentioned supernova. But outside of that, nothing really to write home about. Kid is around Luffy's level. In the anime, he was able to like fight a pacifista with Law and like tango with the pacifista, like get past it eventually. I think we see that off screen, but since we're not doing anime scaling, in the manga we don't see Kid do anything to a pacifista, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think same goes for Law. I can just move Law here as well since they're like together. But they do get past a pacifista, so they must have done something. Kid's probably stronger than Zoro, and so is Law at this point in the series. Luffy, I think it's a questionable one. In a 1v1, obviously Law would win, since Luffy has no haki to defend himself against Opi no Mi, but we're talking about like overall strength here. Killer was able to fight a Rouge and stuff like that, and a Rouge is OP because he was able to overwhelm a pacifista, which technically gives him the best individual feats against a pacifista, unironically. Drake was able to intercept a fight with Killer and a Rouge. But what a Rouge did to pacifista is not what any of these guys did. Like, this guy was 1v1, like, overpowered a pacifista, smashed it into a building. Drake like made a pacifista bleed, so I guess I'll put him over Killer. Smoker is a weird one, like I was saying. Like, he could be like here if you say that like what he says about Luffy's ability is still not good enough, or he could be like around here. But you know what, I'll give Smoker just the benefit of the doubt. He's somewhere on this tier, but I'll give him this ranking. I don't mind, I don't really care. Apu doesn't really do anything, but he talks trash to Kid, making it out like he can do something to him. So I guess I'll put him C tier reluctantly. I'm not gonna lie, reluctantly. Rayleigh's obviously a top tier in the series, the weaker one though. He fought Kizaru evenly, but was then put on the defensive, started panting and sweating and stuff, so it showed his old age, and I guess he's a bit rusty as well. That was the first time in like 20 years he had used a sword. Sentomaru is the one that controls the pacifista, so he should probably be stronger than the pacifista. He also can use Ryo and so on and so forth, so whether he's stronger than Oz and Nightmare Luffy is very questionable, not gonna lie. I'll just put him below Oz, since he doesn't really have feats like that. Unless you think that maybe like Sentomaru is like stronger than, and I did say no post-time skip scaling, and there will be no post-time skip scaling at all. But if you think that like Sentomaru could even maybe like do anything to like a post-time skip gear second, then he'd be like here or something. But he doesn't do any of that, so I'll just put it there just for objectivity's sake. Kizaru is obviously an admiral. I think he'd count as a swordsman, since at his best he fought Rayleigh with a light sword, so if his peak ability is with the Ami no Murakumo, which is the name of his lightsaber, I'd put him below Mihawk, below Shanks too, since honestly Shanks is still made out to be like the second strongest swordsman in the world. So that's where I'll put Kizaru. Boa Hancock is featless, but just because she's a warlord, she should be one of the high tiers in the series. Stronger than Mori as well. Boa Sanders, Sonia, and Marigold were made out to be stronger than base Luffy when they fought. Base Luffy, who is base Lucci's level. So they should be around here. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, Magellan is obviously a top tier, or not top tier, sorry, a high tier in the series. His Hydra, like when he kind of like took out all the Blackbeard pirates, like if you look at the interaction in the manga, as soon as Blackbeard confirms his identity, boom, the Venom Dragon is already in his face. Like, he completely got blitzed. So I'd say Magellan is stronger than Blackbeard at this point in the series. Shiryu's as strong as Magellan, but he then ended up joining Blackbeard's crew. So maybe Shiryu was stronger than Blackbeard, but the thing is that Shiryu still kind of fears Magellan. So even though they're like about similar, he's still weaker, clearly weaker. Maybe Shiryu is weaker than Blackbeard. He's potentially stronger than Blackbeard at this point in the series, but since Blackbeard became his captain, I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. Ivankov was in level 5, so I don't know. Honestly, Ivankov is a weird one because this guy fought like Kuma in Marineford, and a Galaxy Wing basically didn't leave a scratch on Kuma, but an injured Thriller Bark Zoro with a Shishi Sansan was able to cut its shoulder. So honestly, Ivankov, he's just not that impressive. I don't. Even when he fought Magellan, he got destroyed, and it wasn't even with the pink venom. It was just the purple venom. I don't think it's being Nightmare Luffy. I don't know, bro. Like, I'll keep Ivankov at the top of B just for the vibes, I guess. But he's really not that impressive. But he's made out to be very strong though. Like, everyone that comments on Ivankov's strength, like, they kind of like go, "Oh my God, it's Ivankov," you know. So Momonga is a vice admiral, so obviously he should be a tier above the C tier with Smoker on it, who's a commodore at the end of the time skip. He was, well, this also goes for the other vice admirals, like the HQ vice admirals in Marineford as well, and like the other vice admirals in like that came to Enies Lobby with the Buster Call, because they were clearly made out to be stronger than Gear Second Luffy and Marineford when they fought. I don't know if they could beat Nightmare Luffy, but maybe they can. I'll just put him at the top of B. I'm not gonna lie, Nightmare Luffy, bro, I can't lie. I might just have to put him at the top of B, because this guy, Nightmare Luffy, bro, he's built different. I'm not gonna lie. He is built different, so. Akainu, like I was saying earlier and alluded to earlier, that he has arguably the best feats in the pre-TimeSkip, or actually outright has the best feats. He clashed against Whitebeard's Quakes, was matching his strength. He stated in his review card to boast the highest offensive power of all Devil Fruits, so he's on the highest tier of the highest offensive power, stuff like that. He was able to make Blackbeard and his entire crew run away, and was stated in Van Orga's review card that he's able to sense danger and tell, the crew when to like leave and so on and so forth, which was hinting and referencing that moment. Blackbeard even said he's not ready to fight someone like Akainu. Akainu, as much as people hate him, and I kind of felt the same way like a few years ago as well, especially the anime's portrayal of Akainu in the Whitebeard fight really does change what he's actually portrayed as in the manga. But yeah, you could say he's the strongest in the pre-TimeSkip, but I'm biased to Whitebeard, so and I'm openly biased to Whitebeard, so I'll put him above, since Whitebeard still stated to be the strongest man. So you guys could deal with that. I don't care. Marco is stated in the Deep Blue Data book to evenly fight against the admirals, although the admirals in Marineford were suppressed since they didn't want to destroy the island they were fighting on. But he still has the best feats, I'd say, in the high tiers, this A tier here. Jozu is a tricky one since he's made out to be stronger than Crocodile, since his brilliant punk was able to like injure him and so on and so forth. But Dofi was able to catch him off guard and like use a parasite. Now the thing is, if you like take Dofi being able to parasite someone as like Dofi being stronger than that person, then I guess Jozu would be weaker than Dofi, because like we see, for example, when in Dressrosa, when Dofi fought Luffy and was able to parasite him, and then Luffy uses Gear 4, he was able to like break out of that strength. So was Luffy like able to break out of the strength because he overpowered it, or was it just the inflation of his body that just made it break? Like, it's kind of weird, because Jozu was able to like make Aokiji bleed, and Dofi doesn't get any of that type of portrayal, but at the same time was still able to freeze, sorry, not freeze, but, well, actually you can say freeze, just put Jozu in place with his parasite string. Also, the way that like Aokiji was fighting Jozu, because even though it was off screen, it was for a bit of time, but then when he went up against Doflamingo, actually I did say no post-TimeSkip scaling, so I can't mention that, but I'll just leave him here since he managed to injure an admiral. I'd say that's just more impressive than Dofi parasiting him. Vista is one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. He's able to go toe-to-toe with Mihawk, even though he was not trying. He's still a prominent Whitebeard member, so I'd say he's next to Jozu. Maybe you could say he's weaker than Dofi, whatever. I don't know. Like, you can really say whatever about Vista. He's somewhere around here. I think with Ace down to even Crocodile, maybe, like, you can debate it, I guess, and rank it however you want. But yeah, that's pretty much my list. Is there anything that I really want to change all that much? And now it's a tricky one, like I said earlier, like really and truly, the thing is about Robin as well, this is something I should mention. Robin, when she fought Moria, right, she was able to like take and like endure some of like his brickback attacks, and then was able to still put him in a chokehold, and her chokehold that she put onto Moria does say that he was feeling pain from it and was getting hurt by it. And we saw base Luffy, you know, trying to go through the brickbats and saying that like Moria was completely guarded and couldn't do nothing. Like, it was very clear, I'd say, at this point, that someone like Robin was actually comparable to even like a base Luffy. Like, even if it's not necessarily the exact same level, it's like very close. And Enel is not comparable to no Enies Lobby type Luffy, so I would put Enel down, honestly. He's very overrated. He has a very powerful Devil Fruit, but feats are feats, man. This guy does not belong in any of the higher tiers in the series. I'm sorry. He just doesn't. This tier is very big, so I guess since I have a spare tier here, I'll just call this H. I'll move these characters down. Just to make way for some of these other characters, honestly. From maybe Blue, yeah, and now I'll put him at the top of this tier. Then Bluno. Then Chopper. I guess that actually kind of makes sense. Then Fukuro. And then you could put like Nolan. I really don't care what you have Nolan and Kagura, as long as he's not above Enel. I could care less to debate it. Bluno was able to like fight like a nerfed Luffy, like his mental state was nerfed in like Water 7 and was able to like overwhelm him and was able to take his attacks and so on and so forth. So it's a bit questionable with him compared to Enel, but I think everything else is pretty good. So I guess let me know what you think about my tier list. Like I said, I'm not promising the most accurate thing. I do want to say though, I will stream on Twitch maybe tomorrow or like this week, so you can find my broadcast if you miss it, whatever, just discussing this tier list, having more of an interactive conversation with you guys about what we came up with, I guess, or not we, I came up with. This is my tier list. And yeah, I think I'm okay with the characters in the tiers. Maybe the specific like characters and how they're ordered can be argued on, but I think the overall tiers and the characters in it are fine for the most part. And then yeah, so let me know what you think about this tier list in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. That would be much appreciated. In the links in the description are the links to my Twitter and my Discord, so go follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. I've been your host Zage, and until next time.